Hey traders, it's Thursday, June 27th. Hope you're all doing well and had green days today. I am going to get into a lot of things in this video, and although I'm not going to do any type of a screen share to show detailed ins and outs, that's simply because I've done a ton of trading in the last couple of days, and honestly it would be pretty much impossible to go over all of the individual ins and outs that I've made on all the different tickers and trades that I've made. So I'm just going to kind of talk about some big picture stuff. And I think that there are some pretty interesting teachable moments to be had from this video. So stick around all the way to the end because I've got a lot to get through. But first, let's go back to the last video I made. You remember on Monday, I made a video where I talked about essentially taking a hybrid approach to AMD. And I basically traded a lot in the very first hour of the day on Monday and made a little over $3,000 on AMD on Monday. But I kept a lot of contracts open, and I said I believe that it's going to continue to the upside, and that did not happen on Tuesday or yesterday. So basically I was losing money both Tuesday and yesterday, and I will put up a couple of screen captures from yesterday so you can see where I was at yesterday, and you'll see that yesterday I was losing money on AMD. There's a number of different things I want to bring up in relation to not only the AMD trade, but also trading other tickers as well, and basically diversifying. You know, they always say diversify the portfolio. Well, you can also diversify your day trades, which is exactly what I did. And that kept me having green days for the last 2 days, even though my AMD trade wasn't working until today. So there's a lot to unpack here. But first of all, let's get back to AMD. This definitely did not work out the way that it didn't work out the way that it's ideal for it to work out. Remember, you've always got plan A and plan B. Plan A is always to get in and out the same day. That's the ideal. But sometimes it's not going to work out like that, and you'll have to go to plan B. In this case, plan B was holding for a couple of days, and not only did I hold, but I actually added in at a lot of points in the last couple of days where there were dips. You know the old saying, buy the dip. It's, you know, it's an old cliche in trading, but it's a cliche for a reason, because buying the dip is frequently something that will work out for you if you indeed have conviction that your initial thought was correct, and if you have enough time for your initial thought to be correct. And that takes us back to the fact that when I opened up this trade, it was Monday, and I knew that I had until Friday before my expiry. And because of that, I was comfortable letting it run a couple of days, knowing that we wouldn't have just day after day after day of just solid red, that we would turn around at a certain point. And so instead of just closing for a loss at some of those real down moments throughout the life of the trade, I actually added in on the dips and then came back around. And I mean, I've gotten in and out a number of times, both Tuesday and yesterday. It's not like I didn't touch it Tuesday or yesterday. I traded AMD Tuesday and yesterday, getting in a few places, getting out a few contracts here and there, but I still held a lot of my position. And then today I got out most of my position. I still have 5 contracts on AMD open right now that I'm letting roll over until tomorrow, which is risky. But, you know, I figured I made like over $2,000 on AMD today, in addition to the $3,000 that I made on it on Monday. So even if these last 5 contracts really just melt out on me and, you know, we gap down overnight and I have to close them out for a loss tomorrow, it's not a big deal because I still made over $5,000 at this point on this single trade alone. So the first thing about today's video is you have a plan A and then you have a plan B. And in this particular instance on AMD, I worked the plan A and the plan B. So I had like half plan A at the very beginning of the day on Monday, and then the other half was plan B that I worked throughout the last couple of days. Now, did I trade this perfectly? Absolutely not. In hindsight, it would have been much better to just simply close the whole thing on Monday. It would have been better to just only day trade AMD. That would have absolutely been the better move to make. But I didn't make that move. But that takes us to plan B, which is work the trade, and if you see moments where you can add in and you think that your initial thought was correct, you should be comfortable with adding in and then just playing the chart. Get in a little bit here, get out there, in and out, play the chart. And that's what I did. And so even though I should have just done the whole thing in one day, I didn't do that. But if I had closed for a loss on the down points either Tuesday or yesterday, I would have probably broken even on the trade, because I think at the very worst moments I was down a couple $1,000s. So I would have essentially erased all of the $3,000 in profit that I made on Monday if I would have closed for a loss either Tuesday or yesterday. But I didn't. I held it, stayed in, closed almost all of the rest of it today for another $2,000 and some profit, which I will show you the screenshot of that right here. This was from today. So that's AMD. That's kind of the first point that I wanted to make on this video. So the second point is talking about diversifying. And on both Tuesday and yesterday, I traded Apple and the Qs, as well as holding my AMD trade open. And on both days, I made considerable profit on both Apple and the Qs. I'm going to put up the screenshot from yesterday once again. You see I made just over $1,500 on Apple and just over $400 on the Qs yesterday. And so this is sort of a good insurance policy to set yourself up to not put all your eggs in one basket. If you are a beginner and you really are not comfortable with looking at a lot of tickers simultaneously, then it is a good thing to only stick to one ticker per day. Just figure out what's the one ticker you're going to trade that one ticker. But when you know what you're doing and you have the bandwidth to do so, I would suggest trading maybe 2 or even 3, maximum 3 tickers per day. Anything more than 3 tickers and you simply cannot pay attention to everything you need to pay attention to. So, even if you are a professional trader, I would advise against trying to be in any more than 3 trades at one time. I like to get into 2 trades per day, sometimes 3. Sometimes I just stick to 1 trade per day. If I just get one thing that's really working perfectly, then that's the only thing I touch. Like last week when I was in Apple, I had to put 100% of my focus on that Apple trade, and so that's like the only thing that I traded while I was in Apple. But after the AMD trade on Monday, on Tuesday and Wednesday, when I saw that the AMD trade was working against me at that moment, I diversified and I got into Apple and I got into the triple Q, and that worked out for me. So even if one thing is not working for you, something else can work for you. But again, you know, the strategy remains the same. The strategy is always the same thing. Look for the trend, get in on the right side of the trend, ride the trend while it's got momentum. If you're riding the trend and it's working for you and you see slight pullbacks, you can add in on those pullbacks, and then you've got even more contracts on. And so then when it does continue in your direction, you've got more contracts that you can close out. But yeah, so the basic idea behind this video is sometimes your plan A is not working for you, so then you have to go to plan B. And in my case, even when I should have just stuck to plan A, I didn't. I worked plan B. But you can still make plan B work for you. You just have to make sure that you control your fear. And in my case, I had a lot of conviction that AMD wasn't going to just continue to drop all week long. I mean, it looked pretty bleak both Tuesday and yesterday. But then today, we came back in the afternoon, and I added in once again earlier in the day when we were at the lowest point of the day. And so AMD completely worked out for me. So it really just comes down to working the chart, just being able to see the chart, being able to understand price action, and just play the chart as it is in front of your face. And, you know, if you develop the skills to be able to do that, you should be able to come out on top pretty much no matter what happens on the day. And that's what happened to me throughout the week. So I've had a nice green week. Even though I've had some scary moments on AMD, it came back around, and the AMD trade was up over $5,000 total. And you know, like I said, Apple and the Qs was solid for the last couple of days. So it's been a good week. But that's it for now. As always, if you want to learn how to see things the way I see them and be able to spot all the things on the charts that I spot and learn how to play the chart the way that I do, get my course or get my book. It's at lonewolftradingclub.com. You can go there, get the entire 7+ hour long day trading options course and learn how to do exactly what I do and make thousands of dollars every single day. So until next time, hope you all had a good day. And remember, tomorrow's Friday, so size down tomorrow, take it easy, cruise into the weekend on a winning streak, and until next time, take care.